tasked with developing and testing next-generation technology. The military-designed think tank on Scarif monitored the performance of prototype crafts during shakedown flights. And so it was with their approval that the TIE SKX-1 Air Superiority Fighter, otherwise known as the TIE Striker, saw more widespread deployment. This imposing and unusual design was a bold departure from the philosophy of the Galactic Empire. In fact, it was generally frowned upon by Imperial higher-ups due to the wasteful expenditure of its atmospheric streamline, ground support cannons, tactical bombing suite, and pressurized life support systems. Moreover, the Imperial Starfleet harboured much disdain for versatility and generally succeeded through its large number of specialised ships, but that's not to say it was universally hated. For example, Imperial pilots were completely enamoured by the Striker's novelty and sheer power, despite its unpopular nature. With an enlarged cockpit housing a maximum crew of 2, both the pilot and an optional gunner, TIE Strikers possessed large enough hulls to carry Armatech VL-6179 proton bombs, SFS LS-9.3 laser cannons, and SFS HS-1 heavy laser cannons. Surprisingly, however, it utilised emergency repulsors designed to soften the blow of crash landings, so when performing low to high atmospheric patrols over Imperial ground-based installations, Striker pilots had to be rather dexterous, as well as tenacious and daring. Such core skills, of course, could be attributed to most other members of the Imperial Navy, but it was the ability to manoeuvre through the drag experienced in suborbital flights, or GOO as it was often referred to, that truly set them apart. Regardless, TIE pilot culture pitted atmospheric flyers against their space-based counterparts in a never-ending contest of one-upmanship, resulting in the back and forth name-calling of vac-heads and groundhogs. Completely disregarding the lightweight construction and large hexagonal panels of standard TIE fighters, traits that made them difficult to manoeuvre within atmospheres and vulnerable to crosswinds, TIE Strikers utilised a more rigid, stabilising mass in its central hull, not to mention tilting servo-mounted wings. And while its twin ion engines provided forward thrust, it utilised more advanced and specialised repulsor lifts for its atmospheric operations. These very anti-gravity engines reduced the overall weight of the craft, whilst repulsor cores within the Striker's body acted as invisible ailerons to sculpt the surrounding airflow. Its aerodynamic qualities were even further boosted thanks to localised repulsor fields, a design based on Geonosian starfighters. Unfortunately, the fighter's greatest strength happened to also be its greatest weakness. Even with a cockpit pressurised for atmospheric flight, nearly every single design feature was incorporated to make it an agile fighter and thus a liability in space. Further separating the Striker from its fellow fighters, the articulated solar panels maximised its vertical takeoff and landing capability, increasing lift for rapid ascent or descent when in the upward configuration. When in the horizontal configuration, it exceeded speeds of 1,500 km per hour as a blazingly fast start. This, combined with its rapid firing wingtip mounted cannons, made the Striker unbelievably adept to aerial combat. But which TIE series craft do you deem the most effective? Let me know in the comments below. If you've learned something new from today's video, be sure to leave a like. To help out the channel that little bit extra, please do consider pledging to our Patreon page. And for all things inside Star Wars, press that subscribe button and notification bell. Thanks for watching.